Milford community, and welcome back to MPS Talks. My name is Dr. Matthew Joseph, the Director of Digital Learning, Technology, and Innovation in the Milford Public Schools. Thank you for viewing past MPS Talks and recent leader interviews that we've been doing, and continue tuning in because we have some great topics coming up. This year I've talked a lot about innovation and blended learning, and of course our one-to-one environment in grades 3 through 10, and many other digital learning topics. Well, today I'm going to talk about Google Classroom. And I know I couldn't talk about Google Classroom without having Steve Weber with me. Steve is a long-standing educator here in Milford, and for the past few years has served as the technology integration teacher at Stacy. So thanks for coming in, Steve.
Thank you for having me.
You didn't even know you were coming in today.
I did not.
But
I did not.
When we were talking about Google Classroom, I knew I couldn't have this discussion without you. So thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
So Google Classroom is a part of the Google Education Suite and serves as a workflow management system designed with the goal of having and saving teachers and student time by organizing assignments and class content in one easy-to-access online location. Google Classroom works seamlessly with all of our Milford Google tools, allowing students and teachers to effectively and efficiently manage their digital workflow. Teachers can really post anything and share anything in Google Classroom because it acts as a central location to store and share online resources for classes. Teachers can post links to important class websites, share YouTube videos, and post files for students. And this is a very efficient way to distribute materials to students and one of our Google Classroom's most beneficial features. So that's coming from me. Steve, I want to hear about how Google Classroom is being used at Stacy this year.
Okay, well, just very briefly, because it's pretty involved, lot of the teachers, most of the teachers are using Google Classroom this year. Since we've gone on the Chromebooks, the Google Classroom, as Dr. Joseph just said, it is a one central spot for the teachers to use. So that alone is fantastic. From an organizational standpoint, the kids know where to go to get their assignments, to do basically everything. YouTube videos that will help them, assignments get posted, assignments get graded by the teachers and sent back electronically. It's just the go-to spot for the one-on-one initiative that we have at Stacy right now.
And teachers have found it helpful in this one-to-one learning environment to have this tool?
Absolutely, absolutely. It keeps the teachers organized, it keeps the kids organized. It's fantastic in my opinion.
Awesome. Well, Steve talked about assignments, so we're going to talk a little bit about assignments in Google Classroom, because Google Classroom turns creating and distributing, collecting and grading assignments into a quick and simple process. First, the teacher enters a title and description for the assignment, attaches any resources they want for students to access, like Google Drive files or even YouTube videos or web links, as I said, and it shares it with the entire class of students. Students then complete the assignment and submit it back to the teacher. And finally, to close the loop, the teacher grades each assignment, as Steve said, and sends a response directly to each student. We talk a lot about personalization, and Google Classroom allows this to happen. And we're talking about assignments, and I will come back to this a little bit later, but you heard me talk about teachers grading each assignment and sends a response directly to each student. Wow, that is impressive. Google Classroom has features that let teachers quickly receive feedback from students as well, especially around multiple choice or short answer questions. Teachers allow students to see and comment on their classmates' responses, or this option can be turned off. They are middle school students if teachers would rather keep a lot of the answers private. The question feature in Google Classroom is a great tool to use for checking on students' understanding and for collaborating with peers. So you heard Steve talk about a lot of the use at Stacy, and let me tell you, he would never share this with you, but he has been a fabulous resource there, and this initiative has taken off because of all the work that Steve has done and has done during his own professional development. Can you share some of the professional development that you've done around Google Classroom?
So one of the things I did, I took a course a couple of years ago, and I spoke with a teacher and I said, I really want to do something for the district that's beneficial rather than just doing an assignment and getting a grade. So we both came to the conclusion that creating a Google Classroom for professional development, so teachers could actually go to this Google Classroom And basically, I have a subject, and then I have posted YouTube videos or different links so that they can work at home at their speed, at their time, at their leisure, and learn about whatever the subject is. For instance, creating a Google Classroom.
Wow.
And there's just a host of things. We have about 100 teachers that are utilizing it right now, and I hope very soon there'll be more.
And we talk a lot about personalized learning, and it sounds like that's what you've set up for Stacy through this Google Classroom.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, because we've done different things up at the high school, it's just not Stacy. We have high school teachers on this.
Oh, wow.
So it's spread out and people are utilizing it. I've got some real positive feedback from a lot of people saying, you know, it's just nice to be able on a Saturday afternoon when there's nothing going on to sit down and watch it and learn it, and they find it very helpful.
That's fabulous. So we talked about a lot of features, but two other great features of Google Classroom that I want to talk about are announcements and calendars. An announcement in Google Classroom serves to quickly distribute information to a class so students can even respond to an announcement through the comment feature. Announcements are a way to give students a voice in the Google Classroom stream, and students are very comfortable with this with the current technology. Google Classroom automatically creates an assignment calendar for students and teachers. And as we know, if any of you have middle school students, this is fabulous to keep them on track, to have this calendar and to have this feature. So when assignments are tagged with a due date, that assignment will show up on the class calendar for both the student and the teacher. And now that we have these one-to-one devices, all of our students have access to Google Calendar. So I talked about grading a little bit earlier. Teachers that send a question or an assignment to a student through Google Classroom can grade the student's responses. Teachers can assign at any point a value to the assignment and add private feedback or comments to students. And once graded, teachers select the return option of how the students will get that grade and that feedback. Students can then respond to the teacher's feedback as well. So once we start talking about grading, it kind of loops in the homeschool communication piece. Steve, how, because you have a lot more experience with this than I do, how could this tool help with some homeschool communication with student assignments and grading?
Well, I guess to answer that question, I think the possibilities are endless when it comes to homeschooling. You can get the assignments, you can get anything and go home with it and work on it again at your own pace. Differentiated instruction allows teachers to do different things with different kids depending on what the situation might be. So again, opportunities are endless with this. Having the ability to go home and do this to me is just fantastic. It says it all as far as education, because education just doesn't end at 2:15 in the afternoon. It just keeps on going.
That's true. So with this feature, families for Google Classroom have to be invited by the teacher for the class. So it's not just an open, go see how students are doing. It's kind of worked through the teacher and what that protocol is. In the student section of Google Classroom, teachers can invite parents or guardians to the class by email. And after you receive the email of the classroom, you can be entered into that classroom and then receive updates asking if you'd like to participate with daily or weekly summaries for student work. And this update can contain missing work, upcoming work, and class activity posted by teachers. And I know you do a lot of lunch and learns, and maybe we can incorporate this feature into one of the next sessions and maybe talk what is lunch and learns.
So Lunch and Learn is something I started a couple of years ago. I'd love to take credit for it, but I really can't. I read some other school in the Midwest was using it because professional development can be a little bit tricky. We try to catch the teachers early in the morning, and that's a little difficult, or after school. Usually people have commitments. So doing Lunch and Learn, I get invited into wherever the teachers gather for lunch, and I've ask them what would you like to learn today, and I usually have about a week's notice approximately on what they want me to cover, and I go in, they bring in their lunch, and I stand up in front and basically just do a whole bunch of things while they're having lunch.
Wow, that's awesome. So thank you for coming in today. Maybe next time we could have one of our students or teachers come in with you and talk about some of the great things that we are doing especially around Google Tools, because Google Tools and apps have created an environment for us in Milford Public School of collaboration, and we look forward to continuing this learning going forward. So thank you for tuning in today, and continue to follow on Twitter at Milford Schools, and for all things Milford Tech, follow at Milford Tech. And again, keep tuning in to MPS Talks, and if you have a topic you'd like to see, feel free to email me at mjoseph@milfordma.com. Have a great day, Milford.
Let it burn.